इंस्टीट्यूट। डियर स्टूडेंट्स, जो आपका डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट दिल्ली का एग्जाम आने वाला है लीगल, उसके लिए मैं स्पेशल क्लास दे रहा हूं। और इस क्लास की सबसे जरूरी बात यह है कि मैं इसमें कंटिन्यू 6 एक्सरसाइज 400 वर्ड्स की बोल रहा हूं। बीच में सिर्फ 10 सेकंड का गैप रहेगा। आप लगातार लिखेंगे जब आपका हाथ चलेगा और आप अपने टारगेट को अचीव कर सकते हैं। तो मैं सर जीडी बिस्ट लीगल से स्टार्ट करता हूं। एक्सरसाइज नंबर 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6। स्पीड एट द रेट 110 वर्ड्स ए मिनट। रेडी? Start. The appellant married the daughter of respondent number 1 as per the Islamic rites and customs. The two children were born out of the wedlock. Appellant's wife died after 13 years of marriage and within a year he married again. Respondent number 1 maternal grandfather. Respondent number 2 third and fourth maternal auntie and uncles of the minor children. Girl is 13 years and boy is 5 years. Initiated proceedings under section 7, 9 and 17 of the Guardian and Wards Act 1894 appointment as guardians. They also filed application under section 12 of the Act praying for interim protection of the persons and properties of the minor children and also for an injunction restraining the appellant from interfering or disturbing the custody of the minor children. Family Court passed an interim order restraining the appellant from interfering with the custody of the children with the respondent. Appellant challenged the order. Family Court set aside the said order of injunction. High Court set aside the said order and passed certain directions. Hence the present appeal was made by the appellant in this court. Section 12 of the Guardian and Wards Act 1890 empowers court to make such order for the temporary custody and protection of the persons of property of the minor as it thinks proper. In matters of custody, welfare of the children is the sole and single yardstick by which the court shall assess the comparative welfare of the children is the sole and single yardstick by which the court shall assess the comparative merit of the parties contesting for custody. Therefore, while deciding the question of interim custody, the court must be guided by the welfare of the children, since it empowers the court to make any order as it deems proper. With regard to guardianship, the prima facie case lies in favor of the father under section 19 of the Act. Unless the father is not fit to be a guardian, the court has no jurisdiction to appoint another guardian. Respondents, despite the voluminous allegations leveled against the appellant, have not been able to prove that he is not fit to take care of the minor children, nor has the family court or the high court found him so. However, the question of custody is different from the question of guardianship. The father can continue to be the natural guardian of the children. Stop. Next, exercise number 2. Ready? Start. However, the considerations pertaining to the welfare of the child may indicate lawful custody with another friend or relative as serving his oblique her interest better. The question of guardianship can be independent of and distinct from that of custody. In facts and circumstances of each case, the court shall determine whether in proceedings relating to interim custody there are sufficient and compelling reasons to persuade the court to change the custody of the minor children with immediate effect. Stability and consistency in the affairs and routines of children is also an important consideration. Keeping in mind the paramount consideration of welfare of the children, the custody of the children which currently rests with their maternal relatives is not disturbed as the scope of this order is limited. The appellant, in response to these submissions, contended that the High Court could not interfere with the findings of the Family Court unless serious infirmity is proven. The decisions cited by the respondents were distinguished on the ground that these decisions concerned findings that were recorded after a full-fledged trial and not an order passed as an ad interim relief granting custody to one of the parties. The High Court, in its impugned judgment, had held that while appointing the guardian or deciding the matter of custody of the minor children during the pendency of guardianship proceedings, the first and foremost consideration for the court is the welfare of the children. The factors that must be kept in mind while determining the question of guardianship will apply with equal force to the question of interim custody. It was observed that the family court should have delved a little deeper into the matter and ascertained where the interest of the children lay, instead of recording abstract findings, questions of prima facie case, balance of convenience and irreparable injury. The terms on which the appellant and his deceased wife were, the manner in which the respondents obtained the custody of the children are questions that should be determined during the course of trial. Though when the children's father is not unfit, otherwise he shall be the natural guardian. A child cannot be forced to stay with his oblique her father, according to the High Court, merely because the father has love and affection for his children and is not unfit to take care of the children. The welfare of children cannot be guaranteed. Stop. Next exercise, third. Ready? Start. The present appeal by special leave is directed against the order dated 1st October 2012 passed by the High Court, whereby the learned single judge in exercise of the jurisdiction under section 439 subsection 2 read with section 482 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 has set aside the order dated passed by the learned additional sessions judge Saket Court, Delhi, who had granted the benefit of anticipatory bail to the appellants in FIR number AA instituted for the offence punishable under section 420 IPC, registered at police station Defence Colony, New Delhi. The factual matrix that is required to be exposited for the purpose of disposal of the present appeal is that the second respondent filed an FIR against the present appellants, alleging that both of them had conspired against him, and in furtherance of the said conspiracy, they had subjected him to cheating, criminal breach of trust, and have misappropriated the money. As alleged in the FIR, the appellants allured the said respondent to buy a property situated at Lodhi Road, New Delhi, for which he paid an advance of rupees 1 crore. As the narration would unfurl, it was apprised by the appellants that the property comprising entire basement floor and entire ground floor with one servant and impartial share of ownership rights in the land underneath would be sold to him, and he will be delivered vacant peaceful physical possession. There are series of other allegations which would show that on the basis of oral agreement certain amount was paid, and on 13th April 2013 an agreement to sale was duly executed between the parties. It is also the case of the informant that remaining part of the amount, that is rupees 4 crores, was to be paid to the accused persons at the time of registration of the sale deed on or before 26 September 2011. As the allegations proceed after receipt of the amount, the appellants disputed the amount and delayed the execution of the sale deed. On an inquiry being made, the second respondent came to know that the appellants had entered into an agreement to sell the said property to third person. That was the foundation to launch the FIR. After the lodgement of the FIR, the appellants moved an application under section 438 Criminal Procedure Code for grant of anticipatory bail. Next, exercise number 4. Ready? Start. The appeal was dismissed by the learned additional sessions judge, South East Saket Court, New Delhi, wide order dated 25th March 2012. Thereafter, the appellants, after expiry of 3 weeks, filed second application under section 438 Criminal Procedure Code, which came to be considered by the learned additional sessions judge 2, South East, New Delhi, who allowed the same by the impugned order dated 10th March 2012. The aforesaid order was assailed before the High Court on 2 grounds. First, the accused persons had misrepresented the facts and that there was no change in the circumstances, and second, the application for grant of anticipatory bail could have been entertained by the learned additional sessions judge 4, for the first application was rejected by the learned additional sessions judge 6, South East Saket. The High Court referred to certain decisions with regard to the parameters for grant of anticipatory bail, absence of charge of circumstances, conduct of the accused persons in the manner in which they had executed the agreement for sale, the need for custodial interrogation, and the impropriety in view of the fact that another court had entertained the application for consideration despite the fact that the first application was earlier rejected by another court, and analyzing these aspects set aside the order for grant of bail. It is necessary to state here that the High Court has drawn a distinction between an order passed which is perverse in their nature, inviting the wrath of impropriety and a cancellation order of bail due to supervising circumstances after the grant of bail. We have heard the learned senior counsel for the appellants, learned ASG for the state of NCT of Delhi, and the learned counsel for the information, the second respondent, on a perusal of the order passed by the High Court. We find that it has felt disturbed that the second application under section 438 Criminal Procedure Code was allowed by another additional sessions judge who had not dealt with the first application. It has opined that the second judge could not have entertained the bail application, especially when the earlier judge was available. The additional sessions judge who has dealt with the matter on the first occasion had neither been transferred from the said court nor had he become incapacitated to come to court. Next, exercise number 5. Ready? Start. As it appears, the High Court had taken exception to the fact that the application was moved when the second judge was allotted the roster to deal with the application under section 438 Criminal Procedure Code. To appreciate the analysis made by the High Court, we have bestowed our anxious consideration and perused the order impugned. As far as the distinction drawn by the High Court passed in a perverse manner, excluding the relevant matters and considering the extraneous matters which deserves to be lancinated in exercise of supervisory jurisdiction to nullify the same and the other which is fundamentally and absolutely situation based for cancelling the order of bail because of violation of the terms and conditions of the order granting bail and other supervising circumstances. However, the said situation or circumstances does not arise in the case at hand. In that context, the court held that long-standing convention and judicial discipline requires bail application to be placed before the learned judge who had passed earlier orders. On a perusal of the aforesaid authorities, it is clear to us that the learned judge who has declined to entertain the prayer for grant of bail, if available, should hear the second bail application or the successive bail applications. It is in consonance with the principle of judicial decorum, discipline and property. Needless to say, unless such principle is adhered to, there is enormous possibility of forum shopping, which has no sanction in law and definitely has no sanctity. These appeals have been preferred against the orders passed by the division bench of the Punjab and Haryana High Court at Chandigarh. The appellants in special leave petition of 2012 are the Chandigarh administration and the Government Medical College and Hospital Chandigarh. The appellant has filed the special leave petition with the permission of this court, who was not a party either before the single judge or before the division bench of the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Leave to file special leave petition was granted in considering the grievances expressed by the said appellant, contending that in the event of the impugned orders of the division bench being implemented, her chance of getting admission to the course of MBBS for the academic year 2014-15 under the non-resident India category would be impugned. The present impugned orders of the division bench came to be passed. Stop.